is Tuesday, January 4th, 2011. My guest today is Tony Pace, and today we'll hear about Tony's dream to perform in Las Vegas. We'll get his tips on living in and visiting Vegas, learn a little bit about the show business, and hear his plans for the future. Future programs on Cruise with Bruce will learn about traveling to the vineyards of Santa Barbara, California, with actor, wine and restaurant critic, and local resident Michael Servin. And on another broadcast, we'll hear from actress and model Celeste Thorson, who'll talk about her role on Destination X TV series and the best places to go in Hawaii for adventure. Today's guest is back in Vegas after visiting family and doing some charity work in New England. In December, he got back from 5 jam-packed performances aboard the Golden Princess cruise ship, all ending in standing ovations as the cruise liner sailed around the Hawaiian Islands. Many things have been said about Tony Pace, all good. In Las Vegas, he's known as the voice and man with a voice who just happens to be funny. They even coined the term music comedy improvisation to describe his Up on the Roof show. In the May 21st, 2009 issue of VegasNews.com, Vegas Tropicana's president Ron Thacker said it best when talking about Tony's appearance at the Tropicana's Tiffany Theater. Thacker said, quote, "We're very excited to host such an energizing and eclectic performer. We're offering our guests a jam-packed evening of fine entertainment all rolled into one outrageous Tony Pace performance," end quote. But Thacker's not alone. Tony also has accolades from other entertainers, including Craig Neer, owner of Catch a Rising Star, Victoria Jackson, Kathy Ladman, Pat Cooper, and many more. I just say he's funny, entertaining, has a great voice, and is just a good, down-to-earth person that you just have to see the next time you go to Vegas. In the last couple of months, Tony released his new single that's available on iTunes and his website, TonyPace.com. Before I talk to him, I'd like to play his new song for you. It's Just Look Into My Eyes.
When I stand before you, tired of reading my life, all the words I've said are just a memory of life. I stand all alone with no reason to believe. Until you look into
Well, welcome to the program, Tony.
Thank you, Bruce. How are you today?
I'm doing fantastic. It's a new year, January 4th, and you and I have a lot of things planned for this next year.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, the first time I met you and your stage manager, Chris, several years ago, you said it was a dream of yours to perform in Las Vegas. Well, congratulations, you've done it. But I know it wasn't easy, and I wanted to know a little bit about how you started out.
Well, I think the storyline holds true for so many artists out there. I often tell people, look, if you don't have a bio, just pick somebody else's bio and put my name on it, because the story rings true. I started very young. Probably in 6th grade was my first performance as Oliver, and that's where I got the bitten by the bug, so to speak, and moved on to a lot of theater and became a sponge. I learned everything, as much as I could about everything in the business. Learned choreography, learned the technical end, staging, and anything that I could learn, I wanted to know. When I graduated, I had a band. We performed for the local high schools and went into the wedding industry. And from there, I mean, it was just one thing after the other. We had a show band in the 70s and started touring with the show band called Boston Pace around the country.
Wow.
And it was a lot of fun doing that as well.
Very interesting. No, that's very interesting. I guess a lot of people have started off like yourself, and
sure.
Not all of them have had the fortitude to keep going.
Well, you know, and I think, as you say, you know, it is a dream, and for me, it has always been a passion. When I wake up in the morning, this is what I want to do, and when I go to sleep, this is the last thing I think of. And when you have that passion, it is not a job. It's just it's something that I am passionate about. I love doing, and I can't see myself doing anything but this. I like all aspects of the industry, and it's a lot of fun.
I'm sure it is. And now you're in Las Vegas, and you used to live in New England, New Hampshire, actually, right?
Yes, I did.
And you're now performing in Las Vegas. So what surprised you about Vegas?
Vegas, there have been some major changes that have happened with the economy, and of course, when the economy started giving us challenges, after, you know, Vegas has been on a prosperity run for over 35 years, and this is probably one of the first downturns, major downturns that that Vegas has experienced. So, I have always prided myself to being able to see the ahead of the curve, and this curve, I don't think anybody can see ahead of anything. In Vegas, I think part of the thing that surprised me about Vegas is, at this point, nobody knows is sure of direction. So it's a little more difficult for the entertainer. It's a little more difficult even for the visitor coming into Vegas, seeing what they're going to get and what the offerings are, because it changes from day to day.
Right, absolutely. I mean, for years, like you said, there were over 5,000 families a week moving into the Vegas area. Now, that has really got to have an impact when you start having a downturn just a couple years later. Now that you've been there, how long have you been in Las Vegas?
I've been here probably going on 6 years now.
Okay.
5-6 years or so.
So it was right after I spent a couple of times, and I went to your show a couple of times. What do you like most about that area and Las Vegas compared to New England?
Well, one of the main reasons that I that we moved, that I literally uprooted my family and moved to Vegas. Believe it or not, it was not even the aspect of the work, because at that point when I moved here, I was I was headlining in Atlantic City, and
Right.
I was booked for a year. So when I moved here, I really couldn't even work here because I had other work. It was the weather. It was the weather. It was in New England. I love the snow, but it had just gotten. I love being alive, and one of the things that I love about Vegas is the fact that 12 months out of the year, there is no hibernation. If you understand what I'm saying, and back east in the New England area, and in Connecticut as well. I mean, in that area, it gets to around October, November, and everybody starts. You can see that going into hibernation mode, and you really don't come out of it until March. And it's a survival mode tactic, for us as New Englanders, and as you as well.
Exactly.
But I love Vegas is alive 365 days a year.
How has the heat affected you?
Oh, I love the heat. Personally, I enjoy 115-degree weather more than I do 30-degree weather. And it is dry. It is dry here, and for a vocalist, it's pretty strange. But I love the dry weather. I work better in that type of environment.
Now, since you've been there 6 years, what are some of the things that you've found that weren't really publicized? The average visitor goes there and they see a casino and they go see a couple of the shows, but there are other sites, restaurants, and hidden gems that as a Vegas, somebody that's living in Vegas, you realize and know that they're there now, while as somebody that just drove there from New England or flew there from New England didn't. What are some of the things that you've uncovered that surprised you as far as restaurants and sites that you might not have visited unless you were there for a while and uncovered them?
Well, I think people take the perception that Vegas is the Strip, and what they when you're here enough times, you come to realize that the Strip is only one very small portion of Vegas. If you can't find a restaurant or food in Vegas, you're not looking. It is just, there are more incredible restaurants, and even off the Strip. Venture off of the Strip. It is safe. There are some great restaurants. For example, now there's the Bahama Breeze, which is off the Strip.
Is that north or south of the Strip?
It is southeast of the Strip, and that is a great. It's a great restaurant. It's great. The pricing is wonderful. Right next door is a Japanese sushi restaurant. You know what? I don't. The name eludes me, but what's interesting is that's where the Japanese restaurant. That's where all of the entertainers go after their shows for sushi. So, those are some of the places. There is Maggiano's on the Strip. SW is one of my favorite steakhouses. And there are breakfast places. The Peppermint Lounge has some great history, and that's even on the Strip. The Peppermint Lounge it has a back room where it definitely has a history. Off the Strip, you can find there's even a gun. Believe it or not, and you can see the ads. There's a gun firing place. and you can go to this place, and there are limousines outside. There are lines of taxi cab. This is how busy this place is. And it's off the beaten path. People go there and literally rent a machine gun to shoot. It is just, you can find anything. In Vegas, you can take a helicopter ride down to the Grand Canyon. You just have to venture a little bit off of the Strip, and there's a lot of different things to do. And you don't have to only gamble in Vegas.
Exactly.
Gambling is only one very small part of Vegas.
Right.
On the to-do list.
Right. I really enjoyed the time. I took a twin engine, as a Piper Cub, but it was a 16 placement, so it was a rather large plane, and we went over the Grand Canyon to the south wall, and that was just fantastic. Although a friend of mine said to me, she said, well, that's really dangerous. Somebody died on that last week. I said, well, I'm still here.
And it's funny. I hear that all the time. Somebody died, on the helicopters, and somebody dies on everything.
Absolutely.
And if when you come to Vegas, you cannot, you cannot live your life in all points wondering if you're going to die. You can literally be sitting in your room and die.
Exactly.
It's an exciting place. One of the things when, for example, I was on my flight back the other night. I was on a flight basically, and the couple sitting next to me had never been to Vegas, and I said, no. One of the things that you definitely want to do is you want to go at night. You want to go on top of the stratosphere, and you pay $10-15, and you go to the top, the very top of the stratosphere, and you have a 360-degree walk around, and you see all of Vegas at night, and it's a spectacular perspective of Vegas that you can see. And people don't realize it most of the time.
Right. That's really exciting. To see a city like that with all the lights. Just phenomenal lights everywhere. It's just incredible. I remember flying in on the Piper, and the airport was up at the north end of town, I believe. And we kind of circled down, and we were pointed right at the Strip. And it was just overwhelming, absolutely incredible, probably the only place in the world where there's anything that's even close, other than Times Square, but that's a very short venue there. Fantastic. Well, what is the best time to get show tickets for a performance there?
Around this time, December is a slow time. December and January are relatively slow. There are slow periods throughout the year, but you can get, some of the things that you want to take a look at. There are ticketing agencies, tickets for less, half-price tickets. And one of the things that I always suggest is if you're staying at a hotel, at one of the casinos, utilize your concierge, because you can get really good seats, at discounts and whatnot, for great shows. There are a lot of half-price tickets happening today because of the fact that the numbers might be down in certain aspects. And all of the shows, there are one better than the other on the Strip. It's just a great place.
So what are your favorite three shows? Other than there's too many to announce, huh?
Well, you know what? It's interesting because as performers, you can talk to some of the performers and say, "What shows have you seen?" And they kind of look at you, going,
I
none.
work and
I'm working." But I've had the opportunity. I want to see what's out there and make sure that that what I'm doing is of the quality that is sustained in Vegas. So I try to go see the shows, and I've seen the Love, Ka,
fantastic,
the Cirque du Soleil shows. They are spectacular, absolutely spectacular. A friend of mine, Jerry McCambridge, who is a what would he call himself? A mentalist, I think, is the terminology. He's an incredible performer as well. Bette Midler was great. Donnie Marie, I loved Donnie and Marie. There are so many great shows that are out there. It's just a matter of looking around, and now there's somebody actually has implemented that you pay, I believe it's like a $99 price, and there's a list of shows that you can go in a 48-hour period or a 24-hour period or whatever it is. You can go to any of the shows as many times as you want for that one price. And it's a great, it's a great offering, and they're getting smart. There's probably 10 shows on the list.
Fantastic. Very interesting. I've been to a number. I don't go to Vegas to gamble. I go there to see a show. And are there dark times, or they call it dark, right?
Right.
What are the dark periods when a lot of the shows are shut down?
This is a 7-day, 7-night, 7-day a week rotation. You will have 7 days a week. You can find entertainment, without a doubt. For example, some of the shows might be, Donnie Marie might be Wednesday through Sunday, or Tuesday through Sunday, and they're dark on Mondays. But Ka is a Monday through Saturday, so there's always this overlap of something happening at different times. When, for example, when Wayne Newton was here, he was a Wednesday through Sunday, and they had comedians, 6 nights a week, 7 nights a week. So there is always entertainment happening. There are no, there might be a dark night for a specific show, and you, before you come to Vegas, you definitely want to find out and plan your if you're going to see shows, you want to plan out sort of ballpark area of plan of where and what night you might want to go see, and that type of a situation.
Right.
So you're not disappointed.
So if you go for a week, you're going to be pretty assured that you'll have a range of shows, and the chance of getting into a show is greater if you're there a week versus just a 4-day trip.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. The amount of things that you can do. And again, it's not just the entertainment, it's not just the gambling. There are so many. Just the visiting each casino, there are people that come and are overwhelmed at the visiting the casinos themselves. And it's the casinos. People think, well, it's not that big, so to speak, but if you really think in relative terms, it can take you 20 minutes to go from your room down to the front desk.
Yes.
Walking.
Absolutely.
And these are, for example, the Bellagio, or perfect example, the new City Center. City Center is on 65 acres.
Incredible.
But if you look at it, you don't, because everything, all the footprints are so big. It's a relative term. You don't fathom the magnitude. You can't imagine. That's 65 acres. It's enormous.
It really is incredible. I mean, I saw it the first time. I stayed at the Marriott Chateau, Grand Chateau, and we're relatively close to the top floor. And I mean, it was overwhelming to look at the scope of this incredible center. And that was just when they were putting up ironwork, and the next year I went, and they were putting up some of the windows and stuff. Just absolutely incredible. So I mean, you could spend a couple of days just there, walking around and looking, I'm sure.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. The city center is a magnificent modern facility. And they just opened a few days ago. They just opened the Cosmopolitan as well. They did their official opening, and that went over very well. That's right next door to the city center. And of course, you have your staples of the Bellagio, the Venetian, and some of the other spectacular facilities.
Right. So, with all of this stuff that's going on and all these things that are going on in the Strip, would you say to somebody, "Hey, rent a car"? Is it worthwhile for somebody to rent a car?
Yes, it is always worthwhile to rent. Because you don't pay for parking. So the cost of if you're going to be there for a week or so, and you're going to travel back and forth and to different places, a cab ride from one casino to another can cost you $10 to $15. A cab ride from the airport to a specific hotel can be anywhere in the range of $15 to $25 dollars. So if you're there to if you're at a convention and you're coming to Vegas for a convention and you're going to be doing your company convention, then I suggest, take a cab, pay a couple of dollars. You're going to visit a little bit.
Right.
But if you're there to sightsee, it is really, get a GPS and rent a car, valet the car. There's no fee for valet. You give them $1 or $2, and it is a great way to see Vegas, in and outside of Vegas. It's going to be less expensive to rent a car. I find it less expensive to rent a car and have it for the week than it will be taking a cab from casino to casino to casino.
Absolutely, because that strip is if you go from the bottom to the top, it's several miles long. If you go on the main section, it's still about 1.5 miles, 2 miles.
Oh, without a doubt.
So I have found, I have always rented a car because I like going out Red Rock Canyon and places like that, which is fantastic if you're visiting Las Vegas.
Absolutely.
So, we've talked a little bit about Vegas, and just one more thing.
Sure.
If somebody's new and they're going to be going to Las Vegas for the first time,
right?
What one thing should they bring if they're packing?
If you're coming to Vegas, that's a good question. Make sneakers, real comfortable shoes. People make a mistake. They think formal. They think that they have to look good. That is important to look good. But if you're going to walk around Vegas, and going back to the car aspect, people think, okay, well, I'm going to start at Mandalay Bay, and we're going to walk the Strip. It doesn't look like it's that big, but when you start walking,
you're not kidding.
It is just an enormous place. So, I tell people, look, if you're here for a week, then what you do is you take your car and pick the sections that you're going to do for the day. So on Monday, for example, you park at Mandalay Bay or the Excalibur or New York, or MGM, and you do that corner. You do all of those casinos. You've got Mandalay, the Excalibur, the Luxor, and you can visit all of those. And you do the run of those casinos, and then grab the car and then move up the next day to the next group, and you do sections of the area. Then it becomes a lot easier to do. But bringing the shops that are here, they have everything that you can imagine. People have been buying food and drinks and that type of a situation. I strongly suggest that there are markets that you can buy sodas and that type of stuff and put them in your room.
Absolutely.
But the comfortable shoes, and don't bring a jacket. There, people will come to Vegas at different times, and are thinking, I'm going to Vegas. It's March or April, and it's going to be great weather and everything else. Yes, but we're still in the desert, and it still gets cold at night.
Exactly.
So bring a jacket or something that you can layer clothes, so that during the day you have the clothes for the heat, and then you can layer on top for the cold as well.
That's a great tip, Tony. Well, take a little bit of a different turn here, and I want to know, knowing what you know now, what tips would you have for somebody that wants to break into the entertainment business? Would you suggest they move to Vegas or New York City or L.A., or do what you did?
I tell them to go into the law, become a lawyer. Get your law degree first. If there was a blueprint for anything, every artist is different, and one of the main things you have to take into consideration as an artist, anybody that is going to headline on the Strip, you have to have a following. They look at the fact that the question becomes, can you sell tickets?
Right.
Period. That's it. Can you sell tickets? Can you put people in the seats? So to the artist that is coming up, my suggestion is to use the media sources, to get known, to get that your name out there. Again, you look at America's Got Talent. You look at Terry Fader.
Right.
Terry Fader was and is a great performer. He was before he was headlining at the MGM. The difference is that he was on America's Got Talent.
Right.
And from there, all of a sudden, there's national recognition, and now he's at the Mirage and has been headlining at the Mirage. Those are the stories that you hear most of. The entertainers that come here, that the ones that come here and say, I'm going to be discovered. It's a lot more difficult to come here and be discovered.
Yeah.
The venues are not as there are not as many venues as there once were, and the people that are making the decisions of who they're going to put on their main showrooms. Once, and I tell the story to the constituents. My competition once upon a time was, God rest his soul, Danny Gans, Gordie Brown, Danny Gans, Clint Holmes. That was the competition. Now my competition is Garth Brooks, Celine Dion, and I don't mean that in the talent aspect. It's just that these are the performers that are coming in. Those small lounges that used to be here, they're not. They don't exist anymore.
Right. So hence the reason why there's a lot of aspiring actors, actresses, entertainers who are waiters and waitresses in Vegas, New York City, and L.A.
I see a lot of friends have moved out of Vegas and moved to L.A. They have gotten out of Vegas. Even a lot of musicians. There used to be bands everywhere. And it has changed. There used to be, when I first moved here, there were 13 or 14 clubs. There are now 70 to 90 clubs. So it's a cyclical thing, and you have to be able to stick with it.
Absolutely.
And take the good times with the bad.
Well, you started off years ago when you started developing the Up on the Roof act. How did that develop? I mean, you're a musician, you're a comedian, you do impersonations. I love Louis Armstrong. Your impersonation of Louis Armstrong is one of my favorites. Although, I mean, you do a range that's so wide, it's just incredible. And you have participation from the audience, which people eat all up. I mean, it's just fantastic. That took a series of years to develop that, didn't it?
It did. It really did. Especially the audience participation part of it. People have, every single show, when I bring up people from the audience, there's always that. The comment afterwards, how long did you guys rehearse? Or and people don't believe that it was just off the cuff. And the part that is important is that I've learned after you do something long enough and often enough, you develop a knack for it. And I love the audience participation. And I've learned that, for example, when I bring somebody up, I'll either get the Dean Martin type, at which part I've learned I have to be Jerry Lewis, or I'll get the Jerry Lewis and I just gravitate to the Dean Martin. And it works. It
absolutely
definitely works.
Does.
I had a conversation with my manager last night, and we were going over the 2011 schedule, and I said I'm going to pull out. I'm actually going to pull out the audience participation stuff and go towards this. And he said, "Don't you dare." He said, when we were at the Tropicana, the president said that was the most brilliant thing I've ever seen. So all of these little pieces that come into play.
Absolutely.
It's a lot of fun to do.
Absolutely. And it shows that you're really you're into the act and the audience is into the act. I remember the first time I saw you, I left and I laughed so much that my throat hurt and I was crying. And I said, it's just amazing. And then we had multiple performances from you.
Sure.
And we go into the next performance, and everybody's so excited that you're back that we're standing clapping before you even start, which is,
yes.
I think, unheard of for a lot of entertainers because you connect with the audience so well. And I understand that you connected really well on the Princess Cruise Liner or the Golden and in New England. Tell us a little bit about that work. Did you take your family? I know you do charity work and things like that.
I do a lot of fundraising for a lot of different organizations. I have never tied myself to any one organization. I am truly, I believe that whoever needs the help is where I need to be. And if somebody asks for my help and I can do it, then that's where I go. Whether it be for cancer or for the Heart Association or one of my helping children has been a passion of mine for a very long time. So those are things that I'm always passionate about. The cruise ships have been a recent development for me. They have been trying to get me on cruise ships for a long time, and a few years ago, they brought me on, and it's a great medium. People. And it's too bad because for the entertainers, it's a stigma. They oh, you're a cruise ship entertainer, but the same people that go to cruise ships come to Vegas.
Absolutely.
So why? And it's very interesting to me. What the show that I do on a cruise ship, I do in Vegas pretty much. I really don't do cruise ship humor. So maybe that's where I'm different. You've probably seen more than I have, and can speak to that aspect. I don't know. Am I that much different than other entertainers on cruise ships?
Well, see, I don't gravitate to shows where people are like that. I don't enjoy it, so I'm unusual as far as that goes. But I've heard some phenomenal entertainers on cruise ships. There was a Norwegian cruise that I took several years ago. Not David McLean. He's a British singer, and he was just mesmerizing, just phenomenal. And the audience really took to him and enjoyed his music, the same as they have with you. I mean, so. Yeah, I think it depends upon the ship you go on, also.
Yeah.
The types of entertainers you're going to
I think
see.
you're absolutely right. The cruise lines, if they're willing to bring on the polished and the seasoned entertainers, I'm sure that some of the ships will bring on people that are just starting out, and the pay scale is going to be different, and they're looking at the bottom line.
Right.
But when you bring on seasoned performers, people that are just starting out, and the pay scale is going to be different, and they're looking at the bottom line.
Right.
But when you bring on seasoned performers, I think it does make a difference in what they're doing. And a lot of people that I know that have worked ships, they're incredible performers.
Absolutely. Well, it takes a lot of energy to perform a play every 4 nights a week, or do a show several times a week, or do something like you do in Vegas. And you're going to find somebody that is going to be polished and do very, very well at it. So what are your plans for the future? What's going on in 2011? I know you got a debut of an album or two. Is that in the works?
Yes, we have. We've got some releases that are happening. We've been, the schedule has been incredibly busy for 2010. I keep telling people, when they ask what's going on, I just tell them, well, we're all squirrels chasing nuts. But I try to keep on top of things, and the fundraising efforts are important to me. So my goals have and continue to be is, I really don't put all my eggs in one basket. I try to make sure that the fundraising is there, and I'm helping and paying back what the goodness that has come to me. And secondly, the casinos aspect. I'll be going back to Atlantic City in 2011. Going to a different place here in Vegas for 2011. And a lot of organizations and things of that nature there. And I also, with the albums, will be putting everything out there in 2011. So I'm looking forward to. It's been a great couple of years of work it's been challenging, like everybody else.
Absolutely.
But I think the challenge has been to make sure that you stay in the business, you stay strong, you stay motivated, take the punches, and come back and create, repackage, create, and then come back strong when the upswing comes.
Right. So I'd love to host your schedule on my website, Cruise with Bruce, and anything that I can do to assist you.
Well, I appreciate it.
Is my pleasure. I know that you're a charitable person. You work with a lot of charities, and I don't see any reason why you're not going to be extremely busy. After all, you're just an overnight sensation of 30-something years.
Isn't that funny? He's an overnight. He was an overnight success that only took 35 years.
That's it. And if you look at most people that have done it the way you have, and the reason why you're so good, and the reason why I've always enjoyed listening to you and listening to your music. I know you've got a Tony Pace collection that you've got on your website, and you also put it out on iTunes, correct?
Yes.
So
yes.
Anybody that's listening, if you want more information about Tony Pace, his schedule, or anything like that, you can go to the cruisewithbruce.com website or visit Tony at tonypace.com. You're also on Facebook, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
And that says Tony Pace?
You know what? I have no clue.
Well,
I'm not really sure.
Let's put it this way. I'll put the link.
They've set it up, but I don't know what. And I don't know what you look for. That's a good question.
Well, I'll put the link on my website because I am a friend of yours on Facebook.
Yeah.
And you're on a couple other venues online, so everything that I can find, you'll find it. Any of the listeners can find it on my website, cruisewithbruce.com.
Well, I appreciate that, Bruce.
My pleasure. For my listeners, thank you for listening. If you'd like to listen to more programs like this one, please follow me or subscribe to my iTunes channel. All broadcasts of Cruise with Bruce are archived. Bye now. Permission to use the music featured on the program has been granted by the musician and/or composer. Permission for rebroadcast of this and other programs are made by a case-by-case basis. All programs are available on iTunes.com. To add our schedule of broadcasts to your iTunes list, please visit cruisewithbruce.com and click on the icon or link at the top of the page. From that area, can also follow Cruise with Bruce on Twitter or Facebook. Thanks for listening. Now enjoy the balance of this program as we listen to Tony Pace's new song, Just Look Into My Eyes, available on tonypace.com.
When I stand before you, tired of pain in my eyes, all the words that I've said are just a memory of life. I stand all alone with no reason to believe. Until you look into my eyes, and you look into my soul, bring darkness to light. And a kid